He's one of those classic Silver Age philandering, womanizing superheroes. He also helped popularize the term fridging in comic books. Thanks to Jeff Johns, his origin and backstory has kind of been ironed out. I'm talking about the second Green Lantern. Yeah, that's Hal Jordan. And he was our MVP last time on Avengers versus Justice League of America. He's repeated a few times. Can he do it again? Stick around and find out. Yes, that's right, friends. You are back here. You're in the Silver Age comic book discussion room here. We're talking about Avengers and Justice League America, classic comic book superhero teams from the Silver Age, and we're going issue by issue, reviewing all the minutia and trying to come up with a consensus about which was the better series to read, which had the better stories, better art, better covers, and was just an all-around better comic. And I'm saying we, I mean me, and this guy right here.
What's going on? It's me.
Yes, it is you.
I was wondering who you're talking about for a minute. Short attention span.
I mean, it's been an exciting day around here. I'm feeling like a squirrel a little bit here.
Sure.
What's going on?
Yeah.
But I want to say congratulations, because you're nearing to only 40 subscribers away from 1,000.
How did that happen?
I don't even know.
It happened thanks to you and some great folks that I've become friends with. So thank you to everyone that is subscribed to the channel, everyone that's been like, I really feel the excitement and the push from the community. You know, I feel the people rooting for me.
We're going to get you there.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's going to happen. And it's an exciting time because I've never had that happen before. So,
but you're also putting out a lot of great content. I appreciate all the hard work. I know the work that it takes to go into and do this. So I'm impressed by the diligence and the consistency you've been doing, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on my 4th year of back issue of the week, and I haven't missed a week.
And what's impressive to me too is you'll be in the midst of the back issue of the week, and you'll be like, it's relating to this other issue I got in back issue of the week, issue number, and you're like, you're able, the recall. The level of recall is impressive, sir.
Well, I have sacrificed other things. If you think that I go to Walmart and know where I park at when I walk out just 20 minutes earlier, I have sacrificed that.
I've dropped Ryan's link in the chat for his channel. I would love it if people would take the time to subscribe to Magic Lasso and help him get to where he needs to go. I'm trying to pin that link in the chat, but I'm very slow here. There you go. I pinned it. Look, it's pinned at the top so that everybody can find Magic Lasso. We're going to get him to 1K. He is on his way. You could help be a part of that, and I'm sure he'll do a party. I'm sure I'll be giving away some stuff just because I'll be so excited about it. And I hear there may be some decorations coming your way.
Oh man, that is starting to keep me up at night figuring out. I mean, you know, do I really want to take down this beautiful white all green screen behind me and show what's behind this? Or
right, we've been waiting.
I just to be perfectly honest, I'm scared that people might just be disappointed, and then I'd be disappointed. I don't know. It's just
you might be overthinking it. Is all I'm.
I could. Yeah,
it's possible.
I could be.
But welcome in, gang. Welcome. Hello back to the Silver Age comic book talk show where we're talking team comic books. I want to say hello to some friends in the chat, and then we will dive into tonight's
These are the
discussion.
Earth's mightiest chatters, correct?
They are.
Okay.
Compared to the Silver Age roll call you do over on your channel. We got Ruben Guzman, who is always one of the top tailgaters in this YouTube world. I appreciate you, sir. And we got my man Rob Boswell dropping that Avengers emoji in the chat. I appreciate you, sir. We got Chop and Drop. Chop, I haven't seen you in a while. I hope things are going well, sir. Good to see you, my friend. He says, happy new comic book day, everyone. I appreciate you, man. And hey, you're in the chat talking about Sticky Buns and Dollywood.
Dollywood, yeah.
Drew Manchu's voting. He's voting now. He's voting early. He is letting us know, which I do appreciate. We appreciate all of you who hang out with us and vote, because the voting does matter. So far, Justice League of America, a pretty strong lead in this series.
Yep.
We got Dan's Comic Corner. What's going on, Dan? I think I just subscribed to Dan for the first time yesterday, and I want to say he subscribed to you yesterday.
And I will be subscribing to him.
See
how that circle goes around?
There it is. I love it. Subscribe? Who are you? Right. Lady Prime was in the chat last night when I was over there hanging out with Paul in the 619. Thank you, Lady Prime, for coming back around over here. Let's see. Dan says, you're welcome, buddy. Subbed up last night. There it was. I appreciate it, gang. Yeah, we're going to get Ryan there. He's been working so hard. He deserves it. But tonight is all about issue number 16. Series. The idea is that Ryan and I each bring to the table the issue we want to discuss. We've been going one by one through the Avengers and the Justice League. Eventually, we might derail and start skipping around a little bit. But tonight, we were on issue 16. We're going to talk about the cover. We're going to talk about the story. We're going to talk about the interior art. We're going to talk about the MVP, those characters that we feel like carried the story. And at each phase, we want to hear from you in the chat which version you think is superior. You can vote Avengers, you can vote Justice League. Let us know who had the better interior art, cover, etc., at each phase as we go along.
Yeah, as you can vote for some of each too,
as we both generally do. Yeah, I think that we've been pretty split as far as these issues go. But yeah, as I mentioned earlier, Justice League of America, I want to say, is up pretty significantly. Is it like 9-7 or something like that? 10-6.
Let me take a look right here.
I've
got this tab pulled up.
Pretty resounding lead at this point. But at the end,
the big voting. It's 10-5.
10-5. Duh, yeah, because this is issue 16. Yeah, so resounding lead, but you get to vote. And at the very end, your votes are the deciding factor. Once we've given you all the evidence, shown you all the panels, and had all the discussions, your deciding vote at the end will make all the difference. Bonjour, Gene. Good to see you, sir. I hope things are going well. So let's kick it off by talking about the issues and specifically the covers. I'm going to put you in the hot seat, and let's take a look at issue 16's cover for Justice League of America. Let me make you slide.
Let me ask you this first before we go on. Did you get your issue 16? Is there any significance behind you obtaining your issue 16?
Yeah, we'll talk about it. I was going to do yours first. You want me to go first?
No problem. Okay. No, I can go then.
All right.
So
let's hear it.
This is issue 16, and I decided last year that I was going to put together a 3-year plan to finish up volume 1 of Justice League. And at that time, when I set that plan into motion, January of last year, I had 36 issues to complete. So essentially that's like 1 a month for 3 years.
Right.
Even though I knew that, more than likely I'd get a couple at a time and then not get some in other months. So, but in last year, there was like, I didn't get 12 last year. I did something like 29 or 30 or something like that. I really
in the last 12 months. Yeah.
Yeah. And this was one that I was just in this huge buying spree of buying Justice League, and this is one that came in at that time. If I knew this, I had forgotten this until I picked this book up last night. There is a date stamp on the book. Look up at Hal Jordan. Is it Hal? Yeah, Hal Jordan's bubble. Do you see it?
Oh, I do. Yeah. Yeah. Up against him in Martian Manhunter. Yeah.
October 23rd, 1962.
Okay.
So I didn't notice that right away, and I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, that is. I love a good date stamp on comics for sure. I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
Awesome. And I will say, the reason I was looking kind of odd at it is the coloring is different, I think, on your cover as compared to the cover I've
really
got
in the Omni.
Yeah, the one in the Omni, the cave is almost one color. The interior of the cave is just one color of purple, but yours seems to have like a blue in one section and purple in the other.
Mm-hmm. Definitely has shades.
The depth of color is a lot more interesting on yours. And then the ground even has some orange in the distance. Yeah. Do you see it way out there?
Mm-hmm.
Mine is all green. Pink. Yeah, Well, mine's green all the way out to the pink mountains, but there's orange at
wow.
the base of your mountains, and there's none
Yep.
here on the. So it's interesting. The color,
Interesting. Yeah.
the depth of color is simplified here versus accentuated, I think, there. So
Yeah.
that's kind of cool. That's good to know. What is up, John Big Daddy Ross in the chat? Good to see
Hey,
you,
John.
sir. Any thoughts on the cover? How you feel about it? Do you like it?
So
What are you thinking?
I like the cover, but one thing that really gets lost in this cover is a Maestro. And he's the guy that's sitting back there. He's, being Liberace.
Yes, he is.
And he almost really gets lost in this cover, I think. The heroes are in interesting poses. It does make you wonder what got them into that. But Maestro gets lost on this cover.
Yeah, I do think it's a busy cover with a lot of things going on. I also don't like that I see so many of the heroes' backs. That's kind of a bit distracting, but I understand the focus is towards him, even if we're not really our eye isn't really necessarily being drawn there.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's too busy. I do like all the things happening on the cover.
Yeah. And so, at this point, JLA didn't really put Superman and Batman on the covers. That will change pretty soon. But I assume Superman and Batman are in one of those two bubbles. Who are in those other two bubbles?
That's a good question. As they float off.
I guess Snapper, Daddy-O. But I don't know who's in that other one.
Crypto and Streaky.
Yeah, it could be.
Any other thoughts on that cover? You want to? Should we swap
hold on.
over?
I do like the coloring on it too.
Yes, that was honestly, until I saw your version, the color work wasn't as striking. Ooh.
Which is funny because usually you think that the remastered versions, the ones that you see in the omnibus, are going to be better, and it almost sounds to me like this one's better.
It is better. And then I looked at the mountains or the rocks that are right underneath Maestro are one color on your cover, but mine have a lot of pink and purple. So they've given an extra layer of color to that. I can hold, I mean, I'll when I swap over, I'll show you mine here. Give me one sec. Here we go. And hopefully I've color coded it a little bit. You can see the rocks underneath Maestro. Yeah. But look at the ground. Oh yeah, those mountains are all green. Yep. And then the cave itself is just one
color.
One color. I don't know. It just struck me as being a very different, as far as the background color scheme works. It's very simple.
Yeah, like you're coloring between, like, say, Wonder Woman and Green Arrow and Maestro on those rocks.
Yeah,
is a little bit better and a little bit more defined than mine. So interesting.
All right, Avengers Assemble is my cover, issue 16. And by what we're really highlighting is not that this is a Ryan versus John competition. It's more the fact that I've collected the first 25 issues of Avengers. Ryan is almost completely done with volume 1 of Justice League of America. So we're really just talking about the issue that we own, meaning this is my copy of issue 16. It's a low grade. I've got a ton of spine ticks on mine, if you can see there on the side. And then there's a big old crease right through Captain America there. I got this from my LCS. They had gotten a collection, and by the time it had been picked over, this was one of the few issues that had not been purchased.
I'm actually surprised because that cover is so iconic.
It is, but I think at the time, this was post Endgame, and so the Avengers Assemble line had been done. I don't think it had the same he'll say it at some point soon kind of excitement, and so it just was not one of the ones that people were going crazy going after. But I was excited to get it. I probably overpaid for such a low grade, but they didn't charge me like $100. It was less than $100. I don't remember what I paid, but it was like 70. I want to say something like that. But I'm just happy to get it. And it was a book that I was excited to get. I will say it's an odd cover. I do think it has, historic value, and obviously the words Avengers Assemble right there on the cover, fantastic. The background, like character posters, I don't quite understand. The start of a new great lineup, but there's villains in the background. I don't think it quite does what they wanted it to do, as far as like, this is a new team, who will be on it kind of a thing. I think there are better Avengers covers that accomplish that goal. For me, it's all about Cap saying the phrase, right? That's what I love about it. The top half, a little wordy and one color bland overall. I would have liked Cap to be bigger and the writing to be smaller and the background to be maybe a little more energetic. But what are your thoughts on this one?
Well, I mean, this is the first time that the Avengers shake up the lineup, which they do many, many times, as we know as comic book fans.
Very
so,
good.
But a lot of the issues where they do shake up the lineup, if you think about it, are creative takes of this cover. And so, I mean, there's some flaws in the cover, but something's right in the cover too. If it gets, and when I say homage, I don't necessarily even mean a direct homage to it.
But capturing the
there's a lineup change. Who could it be? Pick some. There's even one cover where it's a list of people that aren't Avengers and 2 become Avengers. Pick 2. There's even that. So
yeah. But that idea of it's a new team. Like who's it going to be? Kind of a thing.
You guys in the chat can start picking now. Which has the better cover?
Yeah, let us know if you're watching. You've seen both covers now. Let us know. Is there a superior one? What about you, Ryan? Do you look at these two and is there a clear-cut winner for you?
There is. I like both covers. Just to go on record by saying I do like both. Yeah. And it even, one thing about the Justice League cover too, even the different coloring in the trade dress, I think really works too. It almost surprises me a little bit to say this, but it's Avengers for me as my cover pick.
And I'm probably with you begrudgingly, maybe, just in the sense that I'm choosing it for its iconic status, maybe not necessarily artistic merit. Artistically, the depth of color and art is a little stronger on the Justice League one, but as far as historically this moment, it's kind of hard to ignore how significant this cover is, historically for me. So
see, at a glance, Maestro to me looks like he's a castle in the background.
Okay.
So I think that's, this is one of the few times that you actually have to pay a little bit more attention to the Justice League one to get what's going on.
Right.
What's
up, Tony?
Hey, Tony.
Good to see you. Looks like we got a divided chat so far. 1 vote for each right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that makes sense.
And who are you picking then?
I am picking Avengers.
Okay.
Just for historical context alone. I feel like this is a cover that even if I weren't collecting this full run, as a Captain America fan, this was a book that was on my radar to collect regardless. All right. Because of this moment that is captured here. And again, both books fairly true to what's on the interior, right?
Absolutely.
Cap says the phrase, it happens in the book, and your obviously moment is writ large in the story as well. It looks like the chat is leaning JLA, so they're going 2 out of the 3 people voting so far. So I'm feeling like they're leaning towards the JLA so far tonight.
I can't fold them on that. It's still a good cover, so I like both.
Are we ready to dive into some story here?
Yeah.
All right. Let's do the Justice League first, since the chat is Justice League ready. Are you? Wait, I got to be on the big screen for that, don't I?
I was not ready for that.
Oh, you're used to me being Avengers first because it's on my channel.
Yes.
I'm fine. Do you want me to do different? What do you like?
No, just give me a moment and I can.
I'm flexible. So we're going to do story now, gents, and ladies and gents, I will.
Yeah. So if you guys haven't read the story, that's okay, because we're going to recap it for you. We're not going to go page by page or anything, but we are essentially going to recap what happened in the stories. And based on our recaps, if you've never read it, you can try to go for it. So there's our cover once again. Yeah. The Cavern of Deadly Spears. And kind of as we usually get a full page splash that gives you an indication of what we're going to find inside the story. And the story does begin with Wonder Woman dashing off from Paradise Island. It's time for a Justice League meeting. She knows she usually runs into Green Arrow in his aeroplane when her route crosses Star City, and they do meet up. And Adam, at the meantime, is going to go to the JLA secret sanctuary in the cave by traveling the telephone wire. But all of a sudden, Green Arrow and Wonder Woman look down, and all these people are acting strange, and they're just dancing. And as soon as they get out of their planes, they hear the music that's playing too, and they can't stop dancing. They're all doing different types of dance. Like Wonder Woman's doing a jig, and Green Arrow's doing a toy soldier march, and they can't stop dancing. And even though that they want to will themselves to do something else, their bodies won't. We cut over to a lineman that is by the phone cables where Adam pops out. And it's interesting that this lineman knows that somewhere outside this pole leads to the Justice League headquarters, but he's never been able to locate it. And he realizes that Adam is there. Adam all of a sudden finds himself compelled to do an old Russian dance. He says the telephone lineman's saying something, but he can't hear it. He realizes that he's got two other JLA members there that are dancing as well. And in the meantime, while everyone's dancing, crooks are robbing the bank. And the superheroes are aware of it, but they can't do anything of it. So finally, Green Arrow gets an idea. I can't control my body, but occasionally I'm bumping into Wonder Woman. Maybe I can get a hold of her lasso and toss it up in the air, and the lasso could end up freeing us. And that's exactly what is able to happen. And he's Green Arrow's finally able, once the lasso breaks their concentration, to fire his arrows and try to stop the people, the robbers that are getting away. They realize at that point that Adam is with them as well. They go to stop the music, which is what happens. And as soon as the music stops, everyone is not under the control force to dance or anything anymore. And that's when they first learn about someone called the Maestro. So now we cut over to another Justice League trio of Martian Manhunter, Green Lantern, and they are watching Batman with this music that's playing, doing these acrobatic dances. And next thing you know, Martian Manhunter's doing an Indian war dance, and a whirling dervish dance is what Green Lantern is up to. And while this is happening, it's the same situation. There's crime going on that they can't stop. So Martian Manhunter finally uses his breath to cause rain and then freeze the rain because Green Lantern can't stop moving in place. So this freezes his feet onto the floor, and that regains him, snaps him out of it to use his willpower to be able to use his ring and stop the music. The music stops. Everyone's free of the mind control. They go to try to take off after the criminals. And once again, they learn again about the Maestro. We cut over to another trio, and it's Aquaman and the Flash. As Flash is running to the headquarters, he usually runs into Aquaman swimming upstream. And Superman is there that time, and they look down, and they're looking at this destruction along the riverbank. And Superman is realizing this boat is causing the destruction. So they head out there, and as soon as they get on the boat, the band is playing this music, and they are going buck wild and dancing and getting down. And Superman's really confused because only magic or kryptonite really affects him, but he can't stop dancing. So while that goes on, Superman realizes that he's going to try his heat beam vision on the Flash, and that hot foot made him bump into Aquaman, which tosses Aquaman overboard. The cool waters kind of snaps Aquaman out of it. Aquaman uses his aquatic telepathy to get a hold of the sea creatures. They push the boat to the side. That stops the music from playing. The heroes jump back on board and learn again about this Maestro and try to stop the people that have robbed it. So now we're caught up to all of them meeting up in the secret sanctuary there. And hey, we just all they're comparing notes about what just happened to them on the way to the meeting. And it was all similar, as we just talked about. And Snapper's taking notes too about it. And the Maestro, Green Lantern says, is a clever villain who's discovered a certain type of music that makes anyone listening to it dance. And he's contacted 3 different gangs and explained how his special brand of music would enable them to commit daring robberies, but we caught all of the thieves. But how can we stop the Maestro is really the question. So they decide that they have to go out searching for the Maestro. And that's what they do. And Superman is using his X-ray vision, and he finds him sitting at an organ getting ready to play music. They bust in on him, and Maestro doesn't seem to be all that surprised to see them. "You came just as I figured you would," he says. And then all of a sudden, these spears start popping out, and each one engulfs an individual Justice League member. He starts to monologue a little bit about the fact that each of these spears is equipped to the specific person inside. Like for Superman, there's some kryptonite in there, meaning why he can't break free. Green Lantern, he's has a gas in there in his spear to deaden his willpower, thus prevent him from using his power ring. The Flash is in a revolving bubble that keeps going in such a manner that he can't vibrate his way out, and so on and so forth. Some of the heroes have their hands stuck to the sides. So as the Maestro talks about what's really going on, he says, as he continues to monologue, I feel free to tell you, Superman, that you are overcome by my high-frequency beam, because the musical instruments being played on the riverboat were made of kryptonite. So that's what made you susceptible to all of that. And he goes on to say that you think that it was the music that was stopping you or forcing you to dance, but really it's this high-frequency beam that I've made. And it counter-affects your willpower, and I have control of you. But I would just stop the beam anytime that the music would stop to make you think that it was the music that was causing this to happen. And he sits down and gets ready to play and says, at last I'm about to succeed where every other villain has failed. It's the destruction of the Justice League. And he orders them to start dancing inside of their spear, your dance of doom, until one by one you collapse and are no more. He goes to take off, and when he gets out of the cave, he seals the cave entrance with an explosion of dynamite, and he knows that he has won as he gloats and he walks away. So here we are on the next chapter. How are all these heroes just back in the cave? We just saw them on the previous page, and they were all in the spear. Well, it's Snapper, Daddy-O, and he's talking about that entire portion so far was a story that was sent in by a Justice League fan who wondered if there ever was a way that the Justice League could be defeated, and this is the situation that they came up with. And so the Justice League's trying to decide, well, would we ever be able to get out of this? And they're having a hard time thinking about it, you know? Even Batman says, I've racked my brain in vain to try to think of a way out. And Snapper's like, you know, just talk it out. Every villain makes a mistake. You're always saying that Maestro had to make a mistake somewhere. And Flash is like, you're right. So let's stop and think about this, because it's this Jerry Thomas that wrote this story that's sent to the Justice League, and see how we could have stopped this imaginary villain. So they start to put their heads together, try to come up with what it could be. And, you know, Snapper's encouraging them, what Jerry Thomas has done, you can undo. And all of a sudden the Atom has this idea. This tiny thing was right in front of us the entire time. And he says when he came out of the telephone line held by the linemen, I was microscopically small. I couldn't possibly have heard the music. But remember, Jerry Thomas had me come out of the telephone. I couldn't hear what the lineman was saying or anything else because I was so small. That means I never would have heard the music. So consequently, when later I learned about the music making you all dance, I would have tipped you off that I heard no music, even though I was forced to dance right along with you. And incidentally, that lineman ends up during the monologue part in the previous chapter of being the Maestro in disguise. So they're like, okay, well, that gives us something to work with. And then they figure, well, probably what would have happened then is Superman would have made himself a lead suit to protect himself from the kryptonite and the magic. And then they paint over the lead so the Maestro wouldn't be aware that he is actually protected and he's going to have his powers among him. So he'll play out like he's falling for the trap that they've fallen into and has to dance to his death. But secretly what's happening is when Maestro least expects it, he's going to bust out of it and then bust his other members out of the League. And then they would all come after the Maestro together, figuring that, the Atom's really the one that came up with the idea, which he kind of chastised earlier in the story. And Atom felt bad for not really contributing. But that's how they come to the conclusion that they would have stopped the Maestro. So they ask Snapper if he's written all of this down. And Wonder Woman says, what are you going to do with this solution, Snapper? And he says, well, I'm not a bad artist myself. I'm going to sketch this out on Bristol board and send it to Jerry Thomas with our compliments. Then I'll put Jerry Thomas's artwork in the souvenir room as the memento of the time the Justice League of America managed to solve the case that never happened.
Good work, sir.
Thank you.
I don't want to lose that page there. All right. Now I'll switch us over there. You guys, you got a little glimpse into the Justice League story for issue number 16. And now we will change up turns, and I'll get my Avengers book ready here. And ooh, the colors look a little bluer on yours and look more purple on mine. That's interesting. Yeah, so if you remembered issue 15, the team was kind of split up. Captain America had traveled yet again off on his own to deal with some villains and left the rest of the team back in New York. And they were battling their own villains. So we start off with that splash page, and we see the team is dealing with the Executioner and the Masters of Evil, and Giant Man is there. And they're basically trying to decide, do we fight the Masters of Evil together? Is this worth it? But they feel like they don't have the power to do this all on their own. They've got, of course, the Black Knight, they've got the Executioner, they've got the Enchantress, and then what's the other guy? The Melter? Is that what he's called?
It is, yes.
So good. And the Melter instantly is showing off his skill. He's gonna melt some stuff. But Thor decides, no. I'm gonna take over here, and he spins the hammer around as fast as he can, creating some disturbance in the air, and it throws off the villains, and then they vanish. The heroes are gone. But not only them, they've taken the Black Knight and the Melter with them, and they've landed in a bleak dimension far away. The Executioner and Enchantress apparently are putting life on hold during this little bit. The fight continues, though, in this dimension. The Black Knight is deciding to attack them all. The Melter is going for it. Giant Man knocks the horse down, captures him, and the Melter really doesn't really seem to like he's holding much of a fight, considering he is fighting guys using metal. Doesn't work out so well for him. But they've got to figure out how to get back to their own dimension as well. And that jumps us over now to Cap. He is with what's his name? Hulk's buddy.
Rick Jones.
Rick Jones, thank you. Super Freak.
Rick Jones, bitch.
And they are finishing up in this village in South America. And the villagers are kind of worshiping him after Baron Zemo had been in charge with them previously, and Cap was there to kind of dispense some justice dealing with Baron Zemo. But while they're talking there, some of Baron Zemo's mercenaries show up, and Cap has to show them what for. There's a little bit of a fight. A grenade gets thrown, an explosion happens and blows up their plane. So they're not going to be able to fly back to North America. And that leaves Cap and Rick trying to figure some things out. Meanwhile, the Avengers are back in their mansion. Apparently, he twirled the hammer, got them back to their own dimension. That problem was solved. But they're still trying to figure out what is going on, what they can do to solve this problem with these other villains. And where's Cap? Like, where did Cap go? And there seems to be some internal struggle going on for some of them, doubting that they want to keep this maybe life going forever. But suddenly the room fills with smoke. There's an arrow, and it's causing a smoke distraction, and it's Hawkeye, who doesn't necessarily look like we recall the character nowadays. But he's there, and he says, "I wish to join the Avengers. I never intended to be an outcast or an enemy of society." And it flashes back a little bit to Iron Man 57, where we get to see the story that kind of led Hawkeye to the moment that he is in this particular issue. And if you've read some of those issues, there's obviously the classic hero backstory and the connection to Iron Man and the skill that he has as an archer and his desire to join the team. So he's sort of there to turn in a resume, you could say. And while they're thinking about that, we jump over to the underwater realm and the Submariner. And the Avengers are calling on Namor. They're asking for his assistance. And he's not the kind to really reply to that. And he says, until my people are again rulers on Earth's land as well as underseas, I can never ally myself with any humans, even those even though your offer does do me honor. So he's like, no, I don't want to be an Avenger. Get out of here. Then we cut away to Wanda and her brother Pietro, who we know as the Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. And they're reading the newspaper and they're hearing of this opportunity to maybe become an Avenger and remembering back to their origins back in the early X-Men issues and their decisions to be part of the evil mutants that Magneto was leading. And it cuts a little bit of a history there with the X-Men, but this is Wanda and Pietro deciding that no, we're foregoing the evil mutants path and maybe we can be good guys. Then we cut to the most awkward press conference I've ever seen, with Giant Man refusing to shrink down to normal size to talk to the press, and Iron Man basically saying, we're changing up. We're changing up the crew here. Hawkeye is going to be joining us. He's going to be a new Avengers replacement. They're trying to sell this to the press. The press seems like they're okay with the idea, but they do have concern about resigning members. And this leads to the team having some of those internal debates. And we go to the next page and we see that it's possible that Giant Man and the Wasp are maybe done with this life and that they would like a quieter existence together. And then we cut to Captain America swinging on a vine over alligators because, gang, that's what you do when you're trying to find your way out of South America. And they're fighting snakes and a leopard who is attacking some innocent man in a clearing. And Cap saves him. And then that guy's like, well, the least I can do is give you a ride in my rundown Jeep to the nearest airport, get you guys maybe on a plane or something. That plane, though, is Quicksilver and Wanda getting on their plane. They're flying into New York, too. They're saying, hey, you guys are giving out Avengers badges. We would love some of those. The press, not so won over by the two of them. Although, Pietro does show off that he's not just wearing cute pointy hair, but he can do some cool tricks with his speed as well. And then they make it to the Stark mansion, and Tony, of course, has to continue to pretend to be two different people. He pretends to be Tony Stark, and he's offering them some options. And then he says, well, I've got a meeting, but I'll get to you in just a minute. Jumps into his Iron Man suit and comes back to do the interview, the official interview as Iron Man. Cap, meanwhile, has gotten a hold of the plane and he's flying back in time to see a giant press conference out in front of the headquarters. And he's kind of just at a loss. And he's like, well, I got to get through here. So I'm going to jump over the press corps, swing in through a window, run up the stairs and find out what's going on. And only to learn there's a whole new team of Avengers in his office. And Giant Man has learned how to juggle superheroes because he's going to give him a very emasculating toss across the room there. Everybody introduces themselves, and Cap is caught unawares. He is just kind of at a loss. He's like, there's a lot of extra people here. I don't really know if I trust these people. And meanwhile, the rest of the team is like, we might not be staying, Cap. We may be ready to move on. And of course, we get the little panel there. He's seeing all these villains running through their thoughts about, we might be the guys that you face, or maybe we would join the team if we felt like this was a new life for us. There's a little bit of like question marks happening as Iron Man comes out to speak to the press yet again, because that last press conference went so well. He's ready to do it again. And he says, effectively, immediately, Captain America, having seniority over the others, will be the spokesman for the group, which will now include Hawkeye, Quicksilver, and the Scarlet Witch. And then he's like, peace. He goes right back inside. And he's like, okay, I'm going to go too, because I'm not really going to be on this team. And Cap is just kind of like, this is weird. You guys are really not handling this transition of power really, really well. And he opens the door to the press, lets them walk in, and does his kind of sad walk away back to where Hank and the Wasp are basically sitting there thinking about a new life somewhere else where we can maybe be happy and chill once again. And Iron Man is like, I'm just going to be Tony Stark for a while. And he gets in his limo and gets driven away. And meanwhile, there's Cap saying officially, Avengers assemble. And there's our new team, and a hint that the Hulk might be coming back.
Yeah.
So there you go. There are the two stories. You in the chat now, those few of you hanging out with us can start to comment and vote your thoughts on which is a superior story. These two different comics, we kind of gave you the short and sweet of it, but I'd be curious to hear from you, Ryan, your thoughts on one of these or the other. We just did Avengers. Let's talk a little bit about that while it's fresh in the mind.
Sure.
What are your thoughts on this issue?
This is something that I feel needed to happen because the book already by issue 15 was getting kind of stagnant. It was the same people in the same characters. And once in a blue moon, you get somebody new for one issue and that's it. It's kind of like they didn't. I felt kind of the fatigue that I feel like they felt where they were, which I imagine they felt, where they were like, I don't know what to do with this anymore, you know? Hawkeye's a new character, and I think it's always been obvious that Marvel as a whole has been very much behind this character and wanted to find a vehicle for this character.
Right.
So I think breathing the new air into the team is a very smart move, but this story's kind of boring overall. I thought there just isn't. It's just kind of boring, and there isn't much action, and the action that is in it seems displaced.
100%. And I think it suffers from being two things simultaneously, which is like a wrap up to issue 15 and a launch of a new team. And I feel like either one of those could have worked, but I don't know that the splicing of those two things goes very smoothly. And then the villains seem wasted, like they seem unnecessary in the story, both in New York and then in this weird alternate dimension which lasts for 2 pages or something like that. It all just kind of felt unnecessary. If you were going to wrap it up that fast, it probably could have happened in issue 15, and it would have given you more time to sort of flesh out these new team members and their personalities, I think, a little bit more effectively. It did give me a lot of laughs. There was about 7 or 8 panels in this issue that I laughed out loud looking at. And I'm excited when we get into the art here in a little bit to talk about them. So it did, tickle the fancy of, even adult John reading this at age 48 versus I'm sure if I were 8 years old reading this or 10 years old reading this in the 60s, I probably would have absolutely loved it for the lighthearted joy of the artwork, I should say.
I wonder though, those kids of 1965 or whatever reading this, if it wasn't upsetting for them to see some of these big heroes go. And pretty much, I mean, you have 3 new Avengers that were all villains or considered villainous before coming in. I wonder if that was jarring or upsetting.
That's a great question.
I mean,
and
Scarlet Witch was not what she is now back then.
No. And Hawkeye was neither. And same with Pietro. I think it'd be interesting to read because most of these issues in my omnibus include the letters pages. It'd be interesting in the next few as the letters start coming into the office, what the response is from fans.
I did think having Namor being asked to join, what I had forgotten that. And I was like, that was a surprise for me when I went back in the story. I'm like, probably good not to have him on there, but an interesting choice that would have definitely added some spice.
Yeah.
Hey, Cliff.
That's a good word for it. Yeah. Well, Clifford's in the chat. What's going on, my friend? For those that don't know, Clifford has a BCW code to give you 10%, I think, as off on your BCW orders. I used mine today. I bought a box from BCW. I typed in Cliff Comics, all one word, and I got a discount. So if you guys are buying, I legitimately used Cliff's discount code today to get a new slab box, a new BCW box. So
and for those that don't know, Cliff is going to be on Fanboys Live in the Retro Review this Sunday.
Oh, thanks. That's fantastic news. I gotta make sure I'm there for that. And as a reminder, those of you in the chat, I pinned Magic Lasso's link at the top. I know Cliff's already subscribed. I'm not worried about Cliff, but we're trying to get Ryan to 1K. He's about 40 away. We got to make
Cliff has been just like you, another person that's just been so generous and helping me in support of getting new subscribers too. Yeah. I woke up one morning and he had like gone stir crazy the night before.
He did. It was over awesome. On the council. So, yeah, he was on the Council of Comics shouting you out. What is up? Super Russ is in the chat too. Russ, thank you, man. this guy is the staple of the community. He's I think you're
Mm-hmm.
crushing. What do you got? Like 20,000 subscribers now, Russ? He's crushing it, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, back to the story. I think we agree on the Avengers, but let's talk about the Justice League story a little bit. What are your thoughts on the way they deal with the Maestro?
So the Maestro story on Justice League was going along nice and fine until you get to that third chapter, and then you realize that all of this was Pam Ewing dreaming and Bobby's in the shower. You know, I mean, that was kind of weird.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that this was like a real reader that sent this in. This is just something that, you know, that they just did for the story.
Sure.
Thank you, Issues.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. And so I don't know. It's kind of weird, but I'm going to say real quick too, for those, I mean, Maestro supposedly is an imaginary villain, you know, because he was just thought up by a JLA fan. But for those who are wondering, 17 years later, Maestro would come back in the Justice League. Hold on.
Let's see here.
So there he is, and that's 163.
He's jamming. Look at him throwing the hair back and just going.
And then 6 years after that, he would show up again in issue 237.
Oh, he's got a synth guitar thing now.
This is the 80s, so yeah.
He's feeling it. He's also got that was it Silver Fox hair going there?
He kind of does. Yeah, Star Fox.
Star Fox. Yeah. Sorry.
So he does. This imaginary character does come back, although a while later.
I love it. That's great. I think I had the same reaction as far as feeling like, well, this feels worthless, and I will say I'm not saying I didn't like it. But what I am feeling is that it could have been handled better. It reminded me of the 2 or 3 issues that Claremont's done on Uncanny, where, you know, Kitty Pryde tells a story and it involves all of our characters, and it's this bedtime story, and it's kind of outlandish and fun and lighthearted. It could have been that. And I know that the shock value of having, you know, Snapper reveal that it's been a story he's been telling all along. You don't want to spoil that at the beginning. But I feel like if they knew that this was going to be like revealed that Snapper made this outlandish story for them to figure out a solution, it could have been more outlandish. Like, it could have been bigger. You know, it felt small for a fantasy story. It felt small.
Because it felt like anything else you could have seen them do in a previous book.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And then the reveal is cute, and the solution is kind of ridiculous and not really like they had a genius solution. It would have been fun to have them be like an outlandish story that ends with them admitting like, nope, there's no way out of this. They would have, if they were able to come up with that big of an outlandish idea, we probably would not have been able to survive, you know. So then Snapper would have to write just as outlandish an ending. The device does not work for me super well. That's my opinion.
But we have to pick one, and the chat is kind of not into it tonight on the story portion.
You guys get to vote which story you enjoyed better, which one of these 2 comics had the more enjoyable story and plot, and we will be voting along with you. I guess it's clear for me that despite my issues with Avengers, I'm going to go with that book personally for story. I think that it had character moments that I really liked. It obviously was an exciting new direction for the comic and the characters they brought in, a ton of fun cameos, and the Captain America story, as ridiculous as it is funny. Like, it's a funny Cap journey from beginning to end. His constant like whipping his head one way or the other, not knowing what's going on around him from the beginning when he's being worshipped by the tribe all the way to the end when he's announcing the new team is a whirlwind for him. And I feel it as the reader, and it works as ridiculous as it is. I'm voting Avengers. There you go.
I am voting Justice League.
Okay.
So, just because the Avengers, I mean, I wasn't crazy about the Justice League story. I'm definitely not crazy about the Avengers story. I think that the change of the lineup gives me excitement for the future Avengers stories when they start really cooking with the burner on. with this new team, and I like the team members.
But
In
it's a
particular, I'm a
preamble.
big.
But it's more of a preamble so far,
It
right?
is, but that
Yeah.
issue, as much as I love the cover, which I voted for, I
Yeah.
love the cover, but the story, I still go back to JLA for my pick.
What's up, Comic Cap Collectibles? We are voting in the chat so far. One vote so far, and it's just for Avengers. The chat seems to be sold on that, but Seeking
Glenn's
Superman
here.
comes in.
Hi, Glenn.
So now we are split. We are a divided household, both on the panel and in the chat. We'll give you guys time to continue voting because we're going to talk a little bit about the interior art while you are voting, folks.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's go. Who wants to go first on the interior?
Who's holding up what? I've got Avengers up. So
you got it locked and loaded.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on what Don Heck? I believe we're still in Don Heck's era, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Don Heck. What are your thoughts on what he is doing in this issue?
I like it. I mean, there's some stuff like, look at this. That works really well, I think.
I'm actually sorry. It's layouts Kirby, interior artwork by Dick Ayers. I'm sorry.
Okay. But look at that. That's a great panel.
Yeah.
Clang.
That is fun.
That's really, really good.
Yeah.
I actually think that Scarlet Witch looks better than she has in her previous appearances up until this point.
That headpiece is so ridiculous.
Yeah, although she's really more a magenta witch.
Right. It depends on who's doing the color work.
Did they have magenta in the 1960s?
Who knows?
I don't know. And even like, a panel like you were talking about, you can see that he is not happy. You can tell, I mean,
look, there's
and the press corps, you kind of get the feel that they're not, all of them aren't kind of on board on what's going on.
It's so bad. You've got Iron Man trying to keep it together. You got the press trying to like ask good questions. You've got Hawkeye like forced to the far side of the stage, even though he's the like star of the moment. And you've got Giant Man throwing a legit pout tantrum, and his girlfriend like trying to calm him. Like the whole thing, that panel is a riot. Russ says, I came in, didn't hear the stories. That being said, my vote can be bought with donuts. But I do love that panel. Yes, that panel is hilarious.
Here's a runner up to what I almost picked as my favorite panel.
Sure.
I do like that.
The X-Men flashback. Yeah. That's a good one.
But that is not ultimately what I did pick. Is there anything else you want to talk about before you start doing picks?
No, I mean, I do think Dick Ayers does a good job with not just giving us the simple backgrounds that we complained about that happen sometimes in this title. There are definitely some panels that have a fun energy to them and a depth to them. I think he does a great job with Tony's costume. There's a few panels of Tony's costume that I really think he does a great job with. I'm sorry, I'm keeping you on the big screen there. We'll balance this out a little bit here. So towards the end, some of these panels where Tony is talking, I think really look great. Let's see, right here. Tony's talking to the team. I think that he does a great job of making the armor, because at this phase there are times when he takes it off in the comics and it looks like it's fabric. It like flattens out. It doesn't stay like as a gauntlet. And they do a really good job of kind of giving it a little bit more of a heft and a little bit more depth. So those I love. And yeah, you highlighted some panels that I absolutely love. The very first splash page is a winner. It's a really good one.
That is good, yeah.
I like the scale. They really do give Giant Man size and weight, and I think that looks great. But no, my favorite one's got to be when he's throwing Captain America around. It's the best panel.
So my pick is the same one. Even though there's no background, but if you look at Cap's face, he seems to be enjoying it.
It's so good. It's so good.
And you kind of got Quicksilver looking like a little WTF.
It's like,
and the other members are kind of.
It's so good. I just love it.
That's my pick too.
I would love it as a poster, like a nice vertical poster. It's so hilarious. He's just picked him up. Hey, little buddy. This isn't emasculating at all. I know you're the you're the leader.
And you know he bounced him several times. You can just tell by looking at the panel that he did.
It was not a one-off. It was not a one-off. It's so good. All right. Well, there you go. There's the interior art on the Avengers. Let me load up the JLA on my iPad here.
So thank you. JLA,
I'm glad you picked the same one.
Yeah. To me, JLA is, we say this every month, we say this, consistent. Sure. It's consistent and it's consistently good.
Yeah. There's a lot of fun panels that I really enjoyed.
That's good, yeah.
That had a good energy to them, that really were on point, gave us some fun, visuals to cue off of.
Even this is kind of fun. With Adam
a lot of the close-up faces. Yeah. Here,
that's fun.
Gotta reach around. There you go. Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, and there's a ton of great facial expressions in this issue for them too. I really enjoyed a lot of the reactions that we get when they're trying to figure out this problem at the end, and they're hearing from Snapper. They do a good job. Sikowski, right? Mike Sikowski.
Yeah, Mike Sikowski.
They do a good job of capturing dramatic expression from these characters. What was I going to say? This one is hilarious. I don't know if it's going to be your pick, but this one's hilarious.
That's interesting. It's not my pick, but it's interesting.
This is probably my pick. Anytime we can emasculate Batman a little bit, or it's like when the Justice League all runs off to fight and Batman's got to jump in his car and chase them all down. It's so good.
Yeah.
Oh, so funny.
Here's a few that I liked before we go to the one that I picked.
Yeah,
I mean,
go ahead.
We never talk about Daddy-O Snapper.
He's on.
There he is.
That's a big jacket, though. It looks a little roomy.
That kind of is, yeah. There is another one right around here too. I mean, here's something you don't see every day.
Right.
That's interesting.
Underoos. How about this one? This one was probably my runner-up.
Yeah.
Look, gang. Look. I get it. Like, Superman's gonna have to fly him around somewhere, but you're running on water. Yeah. Isn't that where he's supposed to be able to swim super fast?
Yeah.
Why are you carrying him on the water? Damn it.
We just did on Fanboys this past weekend. We did a Justice League story with Starro.
Okay.
And at the end, Aquaman isn't even there to defeat the starfish. Here's my runner-up panel. I did like this one because they're all kind of like...
Yeah, the faces.
Yeah.
I had a runner-up Wonder Woman face, if you want, unless you pick the Wonder Woman face.
Nope, go ahead and show yours. Mine is a group.
I love this face.
Oh yeah, that's pretty good.
It is phenomenal. The eyes are so great. Really, really fantastic. I turned the page and saw that, and I was like, oh wow, really just nailed the expression, the face. Yeah.
So my favorite panel is also because of Wonder Woman's expression in this panel, but I like that it's a whole group shot.
Oh sure. Yeah.
That's the one I like the best. And you got Adam in his little
floating chair. Yeah. Superman can run on water faster than Aquaman can swim. God, can't do anything right, can he?
Yeah.
Jackson or Kirk drives by to yell Avengers.
Yeah.
All right, so then interior artwork, where are you falling? Where is your preference at this point?
I like both. Mike Sikowski Justice League is my winner.
No, I mean, and I feel like this is the category where it was closest for me, and I really went back and forth. I think Mike Sikowski is more consistent, as we've mentioned many times, and he does pull off some really good expressions here. But for me, I was laughing at the artwork, whether intentional or not, so much in the Avengers book. I gave them the final credit for that.
Okay, that's fair.
So I'm voting there. So far, clean sweep for me. let us finish out with our final category. Of course, you in the chat, let us know interior artwork. It sounds like Jackson Roy Kirk says Avengers. But you guys let us know as we move on to MVP, and I'll explain this category for those that are new to the show. The idea is we're going to pick someone from the Justice League book who was the pivotal, most important element in that story, and we'll pick someone from the Avengers book, and then they will compete until we have one MVP for the show. Like I mentioned at the top of the show, it was Green Lantern last time, which I believe you had told me he's got the most wins of anybody.
Yes.
Is that right? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Last time it was Green Lantern versus Cap, and Green Lantern won.
There you go. Gordon's in the chat. What's going on? He says, no stop, no fun. All right, there you go. Super Russ says JLA has the better interior artwork, so he is with you on that. So do you have a book that was cut and dry for you? You knew the MVP in this book, like, no question.
Justice League.
Because for me, the Justice League book, I don't think like there's any question. The Avengers book, I struggled with a little more.
Yeah, same here.
So
let's do Justice League first.
100%. Yeah.
It's the Atom.
Adam.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Easily the most important part, right?
Mm-hmm. Even though Superman does the heavy lifting at the end, if it wasn't for the Atom's idea and Atom's realization of stuff, they wouldn't have had Superman be able to do that.
100%. Yeah. What's up, JP? Good to see you, sir. Good job, Russ. I owe you a donut.
Yep.
So it sounds like on the interior artwork, the chat went with JLA. It sounds like you and I are in agreement that the Atom is in contention for MVP of the night from the Justice League side. Well, then let's jump over to the Avengers. I went back and forth a little bit. I'll tell you where I settled, and we can see if you
because I am even struggling at this moment.
I went as much as Cap seems to have a lot of the action, and as much as Thor seems to do a lot of the action on the fighting sequence, this is not a fight issue for me. No. This is not a battle issue. As we mentioned, those moments are completely inconsequential to the story. This is a PR nightmare issue, and Tony Stark rises to the occasion. And for me, I'm picking Tony, not even necessarily Iron Man, but Tony, because he's the guy who has to juggle all these personalities, everybody coming at him and wanting something, a journalist, Wanda, Hawkeye shooting arrows into the meeting room. This is Tony Stark managing all of these personalities without Captain America's help, without anybody giving him guidance, and then pulling together the best people he can, and then putting together 2 different press conferences to try to put out all these fires and put in, and then at the same time retire from all of this. So for me, that's what the real story is here, and he's the real MVP of that.
The closest person I could come up to for an MVP in this issue was Iron Man, so I can't fight that one at all. I didn't have as much. I mean, your logical points sound a lot better than me going, I don't know. That's the closest I could do. So that's another reason why I was going to make you go first tonight.
Sure.
And you just fell into my evil trap.
And for me, like, I had to step away from, the MVP is the one that does the best skull cracking, whatever. Yeah. I had to step away and think like, well, what's the plot? And the main plot here is the new team lineup and all the shenanigans in and around. Who do we get? Can we get Namor? Can we get Scarlet Witch? Can we get
the Hulk?
And it's all Tony, right? It's all Tony trying to do that stuff. And I love the way it works out for him. And he gets his little sad walk away. He gets his time in the limousine. It all kind of added up to a good moment for him.
Look what Glenn said, and then we'll battle the 2 out.
Don't fight it. Don't fight it.
That's Gordon.
No, Glenn? Where's Glenn?
Yeah, Seeking Superman. Yeah.
The last page of the Avengers is the MVP because it was finally over.
Yeah.
Maybe. Might be a little biased. Yeah. Okay.
So we have the Atom versus Iron Man / Tony.
And I will say, I was driving to home today, and I was thinking in my head, well, the clear winner has to be Adam, just because he's the one that there's no question about it. In his issue, he's the clear no question champion, right? Yeah. But the more I think about it, the more I feel like it's not fair that Iron Man's not doing it with a fist. He's doing it with his words. He's doing it with his work. Like, there's, for me, they feel evenly matched. It's not as cut and dry, between the two, who is doing the heavy lifting. It's more of a team story in Justice League, and it's more of a Tony story in the Avengers in that way. What are your thoughts?
So that's a very interesting way to look at it, because looking at it from that perspective makes me go, Adam has the idea, Superman does a lot of the execution, so teamwork. And that's not so much an MVP, where in Avengers, Tony/Iron Man did the whole thing.
Right.
So that kind of sways me to that direction.
Adam, I wanted to mention, you please hit me up on Instagram, because I realized you won some prizes at the X-Men giveaway, and I keep losing track of you on Instagram. So
I keep telling them to send them to me.
Hit me up on Instagram, or give me if you have my cell number, just text me, or if not, I'll give it to you on Instagram and you can text me, because I got to make sure I give you the books that you won. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that he was also saying who, because you were saying the Atom. And his name is Adam.
Who?
Yeah. Who?
Like, I get it. Atom. Yeah. It's that American accent that turns all the T's into D's. So I'm leaning towards Iron Man now, just having walked through it and talked to you about it. I'm leading Tony Iron Man as my winner here. What about you?
I'm actually good with that.
You're okay with that?
Yep.
All right. Chat, you can let us know, Atom versus Iron Man. Did you have a preference? We're giving you our champion. We're listing it as Iron Man for tonight. And that leaves us to the big finale. And this, folks, this is for all the marbles. I'm starting the vote line right now for you, gang. Those 9 of you in the chat get to decide this top to bottom. We want your overall vote. Which is the better comic? Not for value, not for speculation, not for price, right? Which was the better comic, the more entertaining and enjoyable book? So hit us up, let us know, comment in the chat, and we'll count your votes. And then let's debate. Ryan, I ran the gambit tonight as far as like flip-flopping, but in the end, I picked all Avengers across the board. I feel like you were a little bit half and half, but leaning heavier towards JLA. Where did you come out in the end?
So both books do have virtues, like the Avengers book. I just thought the story was boring, but I like the fact that they changed up the lineup, and I like the direction that it sets up for the future. So that's interesting. The JLA book, I didn't so much like that it was like a fictitious imaginary story. But I love the artwork, and I'm going to pick for me is, although, like I said, I did vote for Avengers, but your assessment of where I was going was correct. I'm going to go Justice League tonight with an appreciation for the Avengers.
Yeah, and I think it goes the other way for me as well. I have a lot of appreciation for the JLA book and the fun that I get out of it. This is really just me feeling like the comedy joy that I got out of the Avengers was palpable. It was real. And I think I was a little perturbed by how the rug gets pulled out from under you in the JLA story, and you're into this plot only to find out no, it's not real, and now you got to choose your own adventure kind of ending there. So it didn't quite work for me. So we are divided. The chat is divided. It's Gordon versus Cliff. Avengers and Justice League. We need at least to break this tie, gang. So make sure you've dropped your vote. Is the Avengers your pick, or is the JLA your pick? Because you guys help us decide the overall scoring. As I mentioned, there's a link pinned at the top here. If you are not subscribed to Magic Lasso, please do that. We're getting to the point where he's almost like 39 away from getting to his goal of 1,000 subscribers. This is a huge monumental place. He was at, I think, 41 when the show started. We'll see where he's gotten, but like, you gang, you can help him get to that goal, that exciting milestone, a big milestone for your channel.
39 away.
39. We got 2 more tonight. I love it. Thank you,
Thank
chat.
you.
You guys are awesome. So yeah, we want to keep getting Ryan closer and closer to that goal. Really, yes. Go Magic Lasso 100%. Absolutely. So those of you in the chat can do those two things. Subscribe it with that link I pinned at the top, and then drop your vote because it's Avengers Justice League 1-1 right now in the chat. Ryan, you've got videos dropping all the time. He's got new comic book editions. He's got his Sunday night live streams with Tony Fett. What's going on with you this week?
Okay, so currently on the channel, my back issue of the week short for this week is on the Squadron Supreme, which is Marvel's version of the JLA.
Right.
And they had their own 12-issue mini in the mid-'80s, and I talk about issue 1 from that, which just talking about that, I'm like, I think I want to reread the entire thing because this sounded really good. I forgot how good this sounded. So that is my current back issue of the week. Next week, we'll celebrate Labor Day on the back issue of the week. And those always drop Monday mornings. My comic book editions video drops Tuesday afternoon. The current one, it's just been raining A-OKs at my house. And
and you guys, if you haven't seen the new Tuesday one, you need to go back. The last two were, I mean, pretty good, but then incredible the week before that as well. You've been getting some wonderful gifts.
I've been very fortunate. So Mr. Gretzky 9966, that's Matt. He sent just, I mean, literally, it was like 8 pounds worth of stuff. So I was like, whoa.
I love it.
There's some serious A-OKing going on there. And there's some autographs in there. There is a slab in there. There's Marvel and DC. There's Bronze Age, which is my jam. So check that out because there's some amazing stuff. John just A-OK'd me the week before, you know, and that's the previous video. Before that was Silver Hair Bronze Age Babe.
Sarah sent you something.
Sarah did, and a new channel, Kal-El Comics.
And Kal-El,
yeah. And so that's currently on my channel. Next week's comic book editions is not filmed yet because I am told, this like hit me, didn't see this one coming at all. I'm told there's another A-OK coming and it should be here with enough time for me to get it filmed and drop it next week.
Oh, that's
so as long as that happens, even though we don't have mail on Monday, it'd have to arrive by Saturday, essentially, for me to be able to, but it sounds like it's going to.
Let's keep that gravy train a-moving.
I have no idea. And it's from someone who just A-OK'd me too. So
that's fantastic.
And then Fanboys Live and the Retro Review is the Sunday evening show, the greatest DC comic show on YouTube. Signature King Tony Fett. We get Silver Hair Bronze Age Babe at least once a month, sometimes a little bit more. And a lot of times
better.
Yes, and this week we have Cliff on Comics coming back. I'm so excited about this. And Cliff is in the agonizing deciding which books he's going to pick for us, which he can't say in the chat if he's decided. He has to DM me with that first. But just knowing that Cliff's coming back this weekend, I'm like, all right, this is going to be a good show. I don't have to worry about the book or anything. I got Cliff. It's good. So that's Sunday night. So that's currently what's going on my channel.
I love it. We're still waiting for one person to break. One person can break this tie. Oh, he says he DM'd.
Where's Glenn at? Where did Glenn disappear to?
Gordon voted and Cliff voted. We're still waiting on some other people to cast their votes to determine who won tonight, which was the better comic.
Oh, he DM'd me. Good.
Yeah. I dropped a couple of videos every week. You know, I had my video on Monday that I dropped, and I got one more coming tomorrow. Live streams. Saturday morning, I'm doing another one of my interviews. I've been doing these fun channel interviews, talking about life and, you know, things beyond comic books, but comic book adjacent. And it's been a whole lot of fun. Lady Fantastic and Seabizzle, just to name a few. And I have got the Rican himself, Rod, is joining me Saturday morning. So that is the next thing going on my channel. And we are excited to hang out together. I haven't hung out with Rod in a little while, and we'll go through his life and his collecting and all that good stuff.
Tell him I said hi.
We got our third vote. It is now 2 JLA, 1 Avengers, and Jay Margolis says, "Did you call me?" I blew the conch, and he appeared. Yep. Oh. So far, JLA winning 2-1. And there's a little bit of time left as we're running through the end of the show, but those are my live streams.
And let me say too that you did I just loved your omnibus video that you just did too, talking about the DC Omnis in your collection too, and made me go count. And I never counted how many Omnis I had, so it made me go count how many I had. And
Thank
there's
you.
definitely one that you have in your collection that I don't have in my collection yet, but I'm going to get it next year because it's coming back in print next year.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I went through this week, and one of my videos was counting the 14 Detective Comics omnibuy in my collection and sharing them all and lifting them all and getting the exercise of that. So yes, that was one of the videos I did this week. And I keep forgetting, yes, D&D is now on my channel, almost on the weekly. I did a few tutorials, but the first official episode with D&D and the community was Sunday night, and I thought it was a whole lot of fun. Hopefully people enjoyed it when they watched it. And I got the second episode coming up this Sunday. It will compete a little bit. We'll step on a little bit of Ryan's toes, but you can always come by after you're done watching the Fanboys Live and the retro review.
I got to get somebody to let me have their bag of holdings.
Jay Margolis makes it a complete win. Okay. So we're counting this as a W for the JLA tonight, making it 11-5 overall. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Jay, and Seeking Superman and Gordon. I think, yes, and Gordon and Cliff, all for voting. I appreciate all of you taking the time to hang out with us and do that. Because look, we can talk about these books, and we often do, on the phone all the time. Mm-hmm. But it's extra fun to share the thoughts with you, hear your comments and your thoughts, and then you get to be the fun deciding factor for sure. Yeah. It was slow and boring. I hope D&D speeds up. I'll work on it.
I thought he meant my review for a second. So
no. He meant Gordon is our biggest and most consistent D&D fan. He's been with us.
I see him in there.
Three different channels. He's been following us. He was with us on JP's, I think, where he started with us when JP was in charge. And then he was over on Alex's channel the last couple of rounds, I guess a year or so. And now he's over with me. So I appreciate you, Gordon. You are a true supporter of the D&D group.
Let me say something real quick. Just a little bit, not to get too heavy or anything, but I just want to take a moment just to acknowledge how thankful I am for this chat and this show tonight. I think here in the United States, we went through something pretty horrible today. And just to have a little bit of an outlet, not to think about that, not that you'll ever forget or stop thinking about it, but just a little bit of an outlet to hang out with friends is truly a blessing in a day like today. So thank you guys for being here for me personally.
Sure. No, it's well said. And we before we went live tonight, we were dealing with the fact that Charlie's bike got stolen from school today, and it was quite a roller coaster of emotions before I actually sat down in the chair here and started the show. But
I'm very appreciative for everyone here tonight that's helped make this day better.
It was a little karma cleanse,
a little bit better, sure. Better than
for sure.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, better than any of the other options out there, right?
Yeah, for sure.
for sure. And I appreciate you, Ryan, and congrats. Now 39 away from 1K. We'll keep plugging away. You're going to be there sooner than you think, I have a feeling.
I will start buying a hammer and a nail.
just one nail.
Just one nail.
Thanks, gang. As always, this is a monthly show, so we'll be back on Ryan's channel for issues 17. And that'll happen somewhere in the month of September. So stay tuned for that. I appreciate you, Ryan. And we'll catch you guys all again soon.
Bye.